So if you don't want to consume animal products because of ethical concerns, fair enough. I mean, although I do eat meat, I think some animals can, in some cases, be treated cruelly, especially when they're killed using kosher or halal methods.
Okay, I agree with that one.
There we go. I also think there are some stupid arguments like not eating honey because it exploits the bees' labour, because that's basically applying Marxist ideology
To bees.
To bees, yes.
The one place in the animal kingdom where communism might be correct, and for ants as well.
But yeah, it does represent the kind of collectivist insectoid mindset of many leftists, though, doesn't it?
Bang on.
However, with that out of the way, it's worth mentioning that there is a clear line that I think you should not cross in your so-called ethical consumption. And today I'm going to be looking at people who have crossed that line. And I'm going to start with this article on GB News titled "Vegan Who Failed to Deal with Mouse Infestation Because It Would Go Against Her Ethical Beliefs Fined." I mean...
Right, okay.
So, I'm going to read a little bit from the body of the article. Tendering District Council said the 73-year-old Margaret Manzoni of Clacton Road, St Osyth in Essex, considered the mice her pets and said they would not go to her neighbours because she looked after them.
Okay, so you're telling me that a 73-year-old single woman who's crazy doesn't have a cat to chase these mice down?
I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to buy, I'm going to be honest.
These mice are my friends, never mind that they
Stop
cover my
eating my
house in
face.
excrement. No, if she is living alone, obviously that's very sad. I mean,
it's probably self-imposed, judging by her behaviour.
But yes, it carries on to say the authorities prosecuted the pensioner for a second time after she did not comply with a previous order made in April. At a hearing at Colchester Magistrates Court this month, Manzoni was told that while the court respects her beliefs as an ethical vegan, others saw the mice as vermin, which they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they've infested your home. Look at that picture, it's horrible. So the court said that the impact of the infestation on neighbours meant inaction was not appropriate according to the authority. Mazzoni was fined £1,500, with the court awarding the council costs of £2,395 and imposing a victim surcharge of £150. The court heard that the council's environmental health team was called by a neighbouring resident who were overrun by mice, causing property damage due to the conditions of Manzoni's mid-terrace home, the council said. So it's worth mentioning that she's bordered on both sides by neighbours. If she were living on her own and she wanted to live with mice, the council probably wouldn't have interfered.
Can I ask, have you got the article that's being premiered here now in this article, in this bit, or not? Or can I just read out the title? Is it going to spoil anything?
I don't know what you mean.
This one here, right there. Have you got that later in the segment?
No.
Okay, I'm just going to read this out for people on audio. Meat-eating men should be banned from having sex, says Peter. If you ever talk to very feminine women and you tell them you're a vegan, they will be repulsed. I'm just going to tell you, like, it's like telling them you're into feet. No thanks.
But yes, the lack of hygiene continues.
Okay.
So let's move on to this next one. And this is from the Daily Mail. Raw vegan who hasn't used shampoo in 6 years laughs off those who call her dirty and say her hair looks crunchy, insisting water and essential oil are all you need. Let's have a look, shall we? If you scroll down, John.
Have to.
There she is, with
Right.
her clearly clean hair.
Right, you know what? Okay, I will say shampoo's a scam.
What?
You don't need shampoo. Soap is fine.
Okay, at least sun cleaning.
Yeah.
That's
At least, well, like, shower, please. I mean, she just looks dirty, but just, like, yeah, that's grim. But shampoo that comes in massive bottles and sells you about 10 million times of ingredients and is instead filled with stuff that will probably just strip all the nice chemicals off your hair is a massive scam. That being said, that's vile.
Also, just to add insult to injury, Laura Ashley, 27, from California,
Of course.
hasn't used commercial shampoo in 6 years. The vintage clothing business owner says her hair looks better than ever.
Wait, that's the Laura Ashley?
I don't think so.
No, it's not. No, it can't be.
She's only 27. She
Oh,
can't
yeah,
be
well,
a clothing designer. Some social media users have called her crunchy, saying her hair looks dirty. But Laura says her hair is complimented regularly and that she doesn't stink.
Yeah, by the other
High bar.
homeless people in Skid Row, I'm sure.
But a Californian that runs a vintage clothing business, I'm sure she's full of good advice.
But also, can you just get it cut at least? Like, your fringe looks like a barcode.
Speaking of other hairy creatures that probably stink, Carl did a podcast about Bigfoot and whether it is possible. And this is going to be, as of the day that this goes out, free for a week, because this is one of the pieces of content that we're putting out for our 500th podcast. Thank you very much.
That's an impressive transition. Wow.
So from the Sunday that this goes out until the following Sunday, it's going to be available for free to watch on the website. And also, I believe part 2 is out as well, so you can even get the follow-up. So this is just a bit of fun to alleviate your suffering at all the terrible things that are going on, with Carl just evaluating the evidence and considering that it could be possible.
Yeah,
And,
it's like Michael Knowles believing in mermaids and ghosts.
well, I for one want to believe Bigfoot's out there.
I'm sure you'll have a chance with her, Josh.
So yes, on the topic of disgusting people, I have covered before people pouring out milk, but it's still going on.
Right.
So here they are in a very fancy London supermarket. I mean, I certainly don't do my shopping in a place that has red carpets, lovely
Chandeliers with the tea.
So yeah, interesting that they chose this place, but a couple of entitled London hipsters, it looks like, have been just pouring milk out. And yes,
Why is the security guard not tackling them to the ground?
I don't know. He's you've also got the customer attendants there with red blazers, so that's how posh you know it is. So apparently these are members of Animal Rebellion. If you move on to the next one, apparently they may have caused £100,000 in damage.
Oh, Fortnum and Mason, yeah.
Yeah, after pouring milk out on Fortnum and Mason's carpets. I've never been in a Fortnum and Mason because I am merely a
Pleb, yeah.
well,
Yeah,
somewhat a pleb.
But this man with amazing physiognomy has been in a Fortnum and Mason.
That's a 40-year-old vegan. by the
He's
way.
40.
Yes,
He looks freeze-dried. Dear
he does
God.
look like, you know how in the Russian permafrost they dig out like a Neolithic man from a bog and they've just dried him out, and there he is.
He looks like a Solzhenitsyn character.
So he's apparently been released from the gulag to pour out milk. And yes, and of course, this guy is pleading not guilty, even though he filmed it, put it on the internet for all to see. And yes, not guilty of criminal damages, this man.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Let me guess, his defence is the real criminal damages are being done to the planet by the evil fossil fuel
But yes,
companies.
also, talking of grubbiness, imagine all of the cleaning products that they're going to have to use to clean all that up. I imagine that the production of those cleaning products is probably not very good for the environment, is it?
Yeah, very carbon intensive with the bleach and the plastic.
And the poor staff that obviously are going to have to clean this up, that he's not thinking about, clearly.
Well, that's remember the woman on Question Time that said we need immigration to serve coffee in Pret. This is the argument from the eco-activists. We need immigration to clean up my mess in a Fortnum and Mason.
Oh dear. So yes, they're at it again. Here's Stan from Voice of Wales pointing out these losers pouring out loads of milk. At least it's outside, but it's still going to cause a stinky mess.
Well,
not that they would
that
know.
as well. It's blue lit. Can I do what the goblins do in Labyrinth under the beer keg and just lay down with my mouth open? I haven't had my morning coffee yet. I could do this.
I mean, I know it's
I can smell
a bit of a
granola.
dad joke, but yeah, there's no use crying over spilt milk. Terrible.
What can I throw at you?
A brick, hopefully. But yes, someone again is going to have to clean this up, otherwise it's going to just stink out the street where they've done it. And
I think the street stunk by the time they'd amassed their protest and arrived there.
yeah, it stunk before they even started pouring milk.
Yeah.
I mean, they are eco-activists
As well,
after all.
Percy Pig bags. So those are the permaplastic bags that they've brought loads of.
They
And
probably got them from Marks and
they
Spencer's.
got them from Marks and Spencer's, which is one of the more bougie
yeah, I shop there,
supermarkets in the
so
UK.
I can attest.
Yeah, you rich twat.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So there's something else that I'd like to draw attention to, and that is an aspect of veganism that often gets understated, and that is fruitarians. And this is, as the name suggests, vegans who only eat fruit.
Is this just the intersectional struggle of veganism?
Yes, it is.
God almighty.
So here's an article from the Daily Mail titled "Fruitarian couple who ditched veganism to follow extreme raw fruit diet say they have never felt better, but admit they have to eat a lot of bananas to keep the hunger at bay." And John, if you could scroll down and have a look at how healthy they
Oh
are.
my God.
So-
Oh dear.
so they look
Which one's
pretty-
the wife?
Think on the right, but if you scroll down,
Is that Richard Ramirez?
it might be. There she is.
No, that's
So it is basically
kind of-
bodily abuse.
that's kind of sad actually.
So if you scroll down again, John, there he is before.
Bro,
and there,
what the-
And there he is afterwards.
We could have left it together. That's disappointing.
So this is what it does to you.
Yeah.
This clearly healthy diet.
I don't believe for a minute he's not just doing that to get laid. It's not worth it, man. Just quit. Go back to the gym.
We are men. We know how this works. And
Yeah.
she's not worth it, man.
No, he's sneaking cheeseburgers in from behind the scenes because he's not as emaciated as she is.
That is true,
He's
yeah.
definitely sneaking McDonald's in on his morning commute to work.
Talking of fruitarians, who coincidentally also live in Bali, which seems to be a mecca for morons.
Oh my God.
So if we can have a look at the headline here, Bali-based fruitarian couple claiming to have skipped brushing their teeth for 2 years turns to crowdfunding to sustain their lifestyle.
I mean, you said headline. I'm thinking more for headline. What is it about emaciating yourself for veganism, as you saw with Emma Watson as well, that grows your skull forward?
I don't know.
It's like a swelling. She looks like the Elephant Man.
Oh, it's pretty horrifying, and and I advise people to actually look at the before and after pictures of these so-called fruitarians, because I've seen a particularly egregious one of a man who did it for 2 years. He looked normal beforehand, and afterwards he looked like he'd been let out of Auschwitz. It was horrifying. Like he was just skin and bone. He couldn't even do a press up without vibrating his entire body.
Did he have the same sparse facial hair of a sex offender as this gentleman here?
Funnily enough, he actually did.
I'm not shocked. There we go.
But this does also have a dark side, and this is certainly far more than merely gross. And this final article, or the penultimate one, sorry, is titled "Vegan Mother Jailed for Life After 18-Month-Old Son Starved to Death on Diet of Raw Fruits and Vegetables."
Jesus. Okay.
So this story is absolutely horrifying. Just to stop the laughter and make you all miserable,
Yeah,
you're
thanks for
welcome.
that. God.
It reads, "A vegan mother has been sentenced to life imprisonment for murder over the malnutrition death of her 18-month-old son, who was fed a diet of raw fruits and vegetables." Sheila O'Leary, 39, was convicted by a Florida jury in June of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, aggravated manslaughter of a child abuse, and 2 counts of child neglect. Prosecutors said her son Ezra was severely malnourished and weighed just 17 pounds when he died in September 2019. O'Leary and her 33-year-old husband, Ryan O'Leary, told police they fed their children a strict vegan diet of raw fruit and vegetables. Ezra was only fed breast milk, they stated. Prosecutors say, in addition to Ezra, 3 other children, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 11-year-old, also suffered from extreme neglect and child abuse. O'Leary was convicted after 3 hours of deliberation by a jury in Lee County, Florida, at the end of a 5-day trial. During the trial, the jury was told by prosecutors that the Cape Coral mother chose to disregard his cries. Ryan O'Leary has also been charged with the same crimes as his wife, as well as a sexual assault of a victim under the age of 12.
Oh, it's like I preempted it.
As well as lewd and lascivious behaviour, molestation of a victim younger than 12.
Right, okay. Warm up old Sparky. That's it. Just, like, we joke about vegan cats being the same as, like, transgendering children, but
This is genuinely evil, isn't
This
it?
is
These are
just-
terrible people, about as worse as they can possibly get.
it's not helpful to be speechless on air, but I'm just angry.
It is genuinely horrifying. When I saw this story, I was just like, how can a human being do this to their own children?
Yeah, anyone who's stood against the death penalty after reading that. Really?
Yeah, the death penalty's too good for them.
Yeah.
So, I think to end us,
Yeah.
I think it's worthwhile to say that you don't have to be a vegan to beat so-called climate change, and this is an article by you.
I didn't choose the title, but
Okay.
I still occasionally do write for C3 magazine. Thanks very much for the plug. I guess you can. This is a free article I did a while ago. It was just investigating the idea behind Beyond Meat and who funds it. And it's Leo DiCaprio and, of course, the US's largest owner of farmland, Bill Gates, paragon of masculinity with his breasts pointing east and west. And then Burger King selling their soy-based Impossible Whopper. And it's being foisted on us. But the sales of these products are in the toilet because nobody actually wants them and they're really expensive. And then the idea that being a vegan is somehow correlative with human biology, when the reason that we evolved from chimps, for example, is because chimps spent all their day chewing leaves, and that's why their intestinal tract is massive. That's why they have a really engorged stomach. Whereas we cooked and ate meat, so we expended less energy.
So that explains why vegans look like a different species then.
Yeah. That's why they look so emaciated, and they have leftist politics because they have very low cognitive energy expenditure. Meanwhile, we could develop our brains by eating meat, and so it was a step in the evolutionary chain. And then vegan agriculture requires a hell of a lot of water intensiveness, a hell of a lot of air miles. So it's ridiculous to just point the level of livestock.
Soy is one of the crops that causes the most rainforest clearance, for example.
Are you saying monocrop agriculture is really bad for the environment, Josh? Who could have thought? Yeah, but it's like, so avocados. 3 avocados require almost 300 litres of water to grow and are farmed frequently on land loaned by Latin American cartels for over $100 million annually. Quinoa is now unaffordable for the actual farmers who farm it in Peru and Bolivia due to the Western demand. Loads of vegan products contain palm oil, responsible for the widespread deforestation and deaths of chimpanzees and orangutans in Borneo, and farmers being subjected to impoverished lifestyles and dangerous working conditions. Alternatives like oil and sunflower oils, seed oils, require 5 to 8 times more land to produce the same quantity of fat, an issue aiming to be alleviated by skyscraper-sized, climate-controlled greenhouses. But even then, do we want giant glass skyscrapers everywhere in our cities that are climate-controlled, powered on failing renewables, and if you'd seen our previous segment, are contingent on you having a carbon credit to access? No thanks, just eat meat and don't be emaciated.
So vegans, I've shown you the line, and one line you should step over is that into your shower.
Thank you for watching that segment from the podcast Lotus Eaters. If you enjoyed that and want to find more, you can subscribe to our website and become a premium member today and access all of the extra videos that we've got, including videos like the central bank digital currencies are the next step to social credit scores, a rather long-winded title for a video I made recently. And if you'd like to find more from me, you can find me on Getter at Harry Lotus Eater. Thank you and goodbye.